Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to my channel. Tonight we had the Cowboys visit the Eagles, and it was a scary game, especially, that of course the Eagles are struggling in the second half to score. We had the Eagles kick off. Dallas had the ball first. They went 2 runs. Cooper Rush went 0 of 1 passing, and they punted the ball. So we're getting out here, and I'm kind of nervous because obviously Cooper Rush is 5-0. That he's basically the only person I was really nervous about. Wasn't really scared of the run game. So we finally get a stop. They punt. We get the ball. I'm happy that the Eagles kick off, so they get the ball in the second half. And I'm hoping things can get going in the second half. We're still struggling in the second half, like I said before. And Hurts goes 2 for 2 passing for 24 yards, gets sacked on the first drive, and the Eagles have to punt. I don't like that he's getting sacked. He needs to get out of those situations, especially like on that particular sack. He was bull rushed. So I feel like that's something he can see just looking at the defense, reading it. But we had the punt. We did get a first down. We got 24 yards. But after that sack, we were forced to punt. On Dallas' second drive, they ran it 3 times. Cooper Rush goes 1 for 1 passing, and we force a punt. At this point, I'm happy. I'm feeling a little bit more comfortable with our defense, stopping the Dallas offense and the pass game mostly. And then on Eagles' second drive, we finally get things going. Hurts had 1 rush for 1 yard. That was to get a first down. He went 6 of 2, passing for 52 yards. Sanders had 2 carries, 9 yards, and a touchdown. Scott had a run in there for 2 yards. Gainwell had 2 rushes for 11 yards on an 80-yard drive. Sanders had a rushing touchdown. So we had another sack allowed in this drive, but we kept it going. Momentum was shifting in our running game. And Sanders he played a great game today. We get on the board with him with 7-0. At the end of the first, it was 0-0. At the start of the second, we went and go ahead and we scored with Sanders on that rush. And this is where the game turned for me, that I was actually pretty shocked, especially at the 5-0 start. Cooper Rush, he hadn't turned over the ball in these 4 games that the Cowboys have won. On his first pass attempt, he went 0 for 1 and threw an interception. That was pretty crazy. I had my brother over and he predicted this, and we were going pretty crazy on that play. The Eagles get it back on their 3rd drive, and Sanders had 4 carries for 20 yards. Scott had 2 carries for 10 yards. And on the 1 pass for 15-yard TD, Hurts finally gets a pass touchdown, which is crazy. He doesn't do this, and especially in the red zone. He finally finds A.J. Brown for a 15-yard touchdown, which is, he's finding people in the red zone. Well, he found A.J. today. He found Smith. We'll talk about later on in the game. He found Smith too. But this is big for Hurts, especially against the Cowboys, whose defense is pretty crazy this season. So at this point, it's 14-0 Eagles. In the Cowboys' 4th drive, they go 1 run. Cooper Rush goes 1 of 2 passing, and they turn it over on downs, which is pretty surprising because they're in their own territory at this point. I did not think they'd go for it on 4th down, and they did, and they turned it over on downs. Our defense is getting some turnovers. So on the Eagles' 4th drive, Hurts goes 1 of 1 passing for -3 yards. Sanders had 1 carry for 4 yards, and we're forced to kick a field goal. This is a 1 yard drive for a field goal, which is, to me, I was kind of concerned. I don't know if it was play selection or, again, what Hurts is seeing on defense. We should have got a touchdown on this drive. But at this point, the Eagles are up 17-0. And on the Cowboys' 5th drive, they go 3 runs. Cooper Rush goes 1 of 1 passing, and he gets intercepted again. This is 3 straight turnovers from the defense. The defense is lighting them up. But I don't know what's going on offense. That on our 5th drive, we had Hurts had 1 carry for 12 yards, 2 of 1 passing for 20 yards. Sanders had 2 carries for 7. Scott had 1 carry for -3 yards. A 30-yard drive, and we're forced to kick another field goal. That's 2 back-to-back drives. We get the ball in their territory, and that's 2 field goals for 6 points. The Eagles are up 20-0. Cooper Rush has not been down double digits. I said before this game we had to score 28 or 31 to win this game. So at this point, I'm feeling pretty good, but we had to at least get 3 more points up on the board because I know our struggles in the second half, especially in the third quarter, offensively. So we get the ball back on their 6th drive. The Cowboys get the ball back on their 6th drive. They had 1 run. Cooper Rush goes 2 of 5 passing. They have a field goal on a 29-yard drive. They had a huge kickoff return. Special teams is awful today. I feel like that's something that we need to highlight. They had big returns, punt returns, kickoff returns. I mean, they were just running all over us and on special teams. That's something we got to work on this week. Really bad. They get a field goal out of it. They cut the score 3-20. We get the ball back. We ran it with Gainwell for 3 yards. It's halftime. So at this point, it's 3-20, the halftime score. And this is where I start to get nervous because we've had struggles in the second half scoring. And it's the same story again with this game. We did have a scoring drive, but it was a bunch of rushing. We had 4 rushers in that drive to score a touchdown on that touchdown pass for Devontae Smith. That could have easily been a touchdown pass if we hadn't rushed it so much and got down the field. Excuse me. So that's something that we got to work on, man. The most points we've scored is 9 points. I didn't like a lot of things that were going on in the second half that Jalen Hurts. This happened last week in the Cardinal game where they're bull rushing him and he just goes down and gets sacked. I mean, it's ridiculous. Like, it's frustrating as an Eagles fan. You want to believe in a person, but I feel like the defense again put us in a position to win. Our running game. This is, we come in the second half. We received the ball in the second half. And it was just, on our 7th drive, Hurts goes 1 for 1 for 15 yards. Sanders had 1 carry for 1 yard. He gets sacked again. And we're forced to punt. Dallas' 7th drive, they had 6 runs. Cooper Rush was 3-0 passing. It was a 79-yard drive, and they had a rushing touchdown. So I feel like we received the ball. We don't do anything. Like, because we have our second half struggles with, I don't know what it is on offense. We got to turn on the light or something. It's just, this has been all year long. Except for week 1 when we faced the Detroit Lions and we lit them up on the scoreboard because it was a shootout. So they get on the board. It's 10-20. Eagles get the ball back on their 8th drive. Hurts goes 0 of 4. Passing, Sanders had 1 carry for 3 yards and another sack. At this point, it's 3 sacks in the game. He doesn't complete any passes on this drive. I mean, it's our second drive of the second half. And again, like the offense is nowhere to be seen. We were forced to punt. Dallas 8th drive. Cooper Rush goes 6 of 2. They had 7 runs, and Cooper Rush had a passing TD. It's a 93-yard drive. At this point, the momentum is completely shifted to Dallas' side. It's 17-20. We were up 20-3 at half. So this is ridiculous. I mean, you can't just turn it on when a team's coming back. I mean, it's just we got to keep it going. Put up 3 points. Put up 6 points with the field goal. I don't care how you do it, but it's just ridiculous. You need to get on the board at least one of those drives in the third quarter. Eagles go scoreless in the third quarter. And on their 9th drive, Hurts had 3 carries for 9 yards. He finally goes 2-0 as a 26 yards for passing. He has a passing touchdown. And Sanders had 5 carries for 21 yards. Scott had 1 carry for 5 yards. Gainwell had 2 carries for 11 yards. So you can see right there, we had 11 rushes with 4 different players to get down the field. Now, if that's what it takes to get us going, you know what I mean? Get the ball out of his hands. Run those running plays. Get Gainwell, get Scott, get whoever the hell you have to get in there to rush the ball. If that's going to keep us moving offensively in the second half. Because, I mean, we didn't score, like I said, in the third quarter. Devontae Smith gets receiving touchdown. We go for 2. I don't know. I guess we wanted to force Dallas to go for 2 because this would have put us up by 11, which means a field goal and an 8-point scoring drive. We don't get it, and we're up by 9. So they need a field goal and a touchdown, and an extra point beats us. I don't know about this call. I think we just kicked the field goal. We're up by 10 points. I mean, what's the point of going for 2? 2-point conversion fails. Dallas' 9th drive. Cooper Rush goes 1 for 1 passing. He has 2 runs. I mean, they ran it twice, and another interception by the defense. I mean, the defense was playing tremendous tonight. I mean, especially with a person that hadn't turned it over in 4 games. I mean, that's impressive, man. I mean, they impressed the hell out of me. Bradbury, Slay, I mean, everybody. Even Graham and Fletcher Cox, Riddick, they might have not sacked the quarterback, but they hit him in his mouth for him to throw some of those interceptions. And that shows a lot today. Even though we didn't get a sack, I felt like we played our asses off on defense. Defense did awesome. We struggled offensively, and special teams was just fucking horrible. Except for when we kicked field goals. I mean, they executed on that point. So we get an interception on our 10th drive. The Eagles, Hurts had 1 carry for 5 yards. Sanders had 2 runs for 7 yards. On one third down, I don't know why or what Hurts said that made Jason Kelce snap the ball and they hit him in the leg. He fumbles it, and this is the second week in a row that this guy, like, it hits him in the chest at Arizona, and it falls on the ground. Sanders saves him. This time, Jason Kelce saved him, and I saw that Jason Kelce was frustrated. He felt like it was his fault, but that's 2 weeks in a row. I mean, Hurts, pay attention to what's going on, dude. You need to read the defense. You need to see bull rushes. Don't be fumbling the ball on a snap, because this is the second week in a row. Now, Hurts has been 0-3 against Dallas. They won this game. He's finally 1-3. But I feel like he has so much talent, a good defense. The Eagles could have won this game 35-17. Instead, we kicked field goals, went for 2 on a touchdown. I mean, we got to play better offensively in the second half. Dallas' 10th drive, Cooper Rush goes 4 of 6 passing. They passed it all their last drive on their 10th drive. Excuse me. and they go on to miss a field goal, a 59-yard field goal, which is it was pretty cool. The special teams played good on that one, and then when we scored field goals, they did good. Other than that, kickoffs, punt returns, we got a lot to work on in special teams. I think that special teams and second half offense, to me, are the bold points what we need to improve on moving forward. Yes, the Eagles are 6-0. We finally beat Dallas in 2 freaking years. I mean, they want me cash, bro. $40. $40. Into the game stats, Hurts had a QBR of 104.6. 104.6. 2 passing touchdowns, 155 yards passing. He had 9 carries for 27 yards. The fumble, of course, which was on the snap. Miles Sanders had 18 carries for 71 yards and a touchdown. And Cooper Rush was 18 of 38. 18 of 38. 181 yards, though. He did have a passing touchdown. He threw 3 interceptions. He had a QBR of 37. Wow, dude. I mean, they've been playing lights out. You know, they beat the Rams at the Rams. They beat the Super Bowl champs. They beat the Super Bowl opponent that got into the Super Bowl and lost. They beat some good opponents until they finally met us. And I mean, I'm glad that we won. You know, I'm glad we didn't get to 28. We would have got to 27, but we went for 2. But this is a hell of a win. I mean, we finally beat Dallas. I have to give finally the Eagles and Hurts I do get frustrated on some of the things he does, but I felt like these pinpoints that I say, every day we got to improve. We got to improve. Especially, I want this team to go to the Super Bowl. I want some new jerseys to buy. I'm wearing a Donovan McNabb's jersey, Super Bowl loser, but he made it to the game, bro. He made it to the championship game. And that's what it's all about for me. We only have 1 Super Bowl under our belt. We're behind in our whole division. We got to put more up there. As far as today's game, it was awesome. The defense had 3 interceptions, turnover on downs. That's, to me, another pinpoint. Another great job for the defense. Another great game. They're just playing awesome this year. The defense is the Dallas defense had 4 sacks. To me, that's something that Hurts has to work on. He has to read the defense. 4 sacks. It could have been more ugly than what it actually was. But thanks to the defense of the Eagles getting turnovers, that's what made the difference in this game. We had short field advantage, 2 field goals to show for it, but scoring is scoring. We got 6 points in the second half. That was the scary thing for me, that we might not score. What if we don't score, or a field goal? I didn't care. We needed to get past close to the level of 27, 28 points. We got 26. We're going into the bye. We can get some of our guys back from injury. We took a beating in this game. Dallas really banged us up. Lane Johnson left. Gardner Johnson Jr., he was taken out but came back in the game and had an interception. We got pretty banged up in this game, but hopefully we can recover with the bye. And guess what? All my other teams lost, but the Eagles won. 6-0. We have the bye. In 2 weeks we face the Steelers. We're going to be at home again. So that's a good thing. The Battle of Pennsylvania, we know that's going to be an ugly game too. Because especially Steelers and Eagles are in Pennsylvania. That's what the game is called, Battle of Pennsylvania. I'll see you guys next week. We'll see if United can get a win this week after they lost to an undefeated Eagle Pass team. They got to win out to at least create a playoff berth. Penn State too. Hopefully they can bounce back. Marshall as well. All 3 teams, like I said, are lost. I'll be going to Uvalde this week, Friday. Hopefully I can give you guys a reaction video to that. Let's go Coyotes. Hopefully they beat Frederick. I'll watch that game with my dad. Subscribe to my channel. Stay tuned. Let's go. Eagles beat Dallas.